Good evening and welcome once again. I'm yours truly. Hope all is well with you and yours. I want to send a big shout out to Untitled Chapter, working up under the most worshipful John G. Jones Grand Lodge, State of California. Enjoyed your meeting this evening. It was great. And to the elected officers of the chapter, I'm looking forward to working with you. I know you're going to do an outstanding job. So let's get to work. Also to Sovereign Bay and to Joseph Burrs of the Ancient Primitive Rites of Memphis, Mizraim. Um, you know what? I enjoyed our conversation today. Keep on pushing. I'm looking forward to traveling with you and yours here soon. Also, it was asked of me, brother, what type of books do you think a newly into apprentice or a newly raised master mason should have? Also, it was the same thing. Sisters who have been initiated in the craft, what books do you think they should also start with their library with? Where there's a few books I would suggest that a sister or a brother start their library with. And first, I'm gonna say this in regards to the brothers in their library. I think each brother should have a Masonic Lexicon in their library. Get one. It comes in handy. I will get that. I would also make sure I have a Mackey's Jurisprudence. I would make sure I have my Lodge bylaws, my Grand Lodge Constitution, my Masonic Ritual. Have more than one ritual. Get yourself a Duncan's, a Leicester Look to the East, your Grand Lodge, um, Masonic Ritual. Those would be the three. That would be three Masonic rituals you would have. Some Grand Lodges do have their own Masonic rituals, but I would make sure that I would have those three in there. And there are others out there that you can probably purchase and have. Also, I would consider uh, there's a book on the symbolism of Freemasonry. I will make sure I have that in my library. And then after that, you can go any which way you choose to, but you want to make sure you have that. Also, if I didn't mention, make sure you got a Mackey's Jurisprudence in your library. When you become a Master Mason, you need all of that. I think that's going to help round you out, and then you can kind of go into other books if you choose to. And the same thing goes for the Order of the Eastern Star. I think you should also have that Robert Rules of Order. Robert Rules of Order. I believe that book, whether you be an Eastern Star or Master Mason, really should be in your library. And as far as the Eastern Stars are concerned, you want to make sure you have your chapter bylaws, your grand chapter constitution and bylaws. You want to make sure you have your OES ritual, whether your state has its own or you have one that is by Robert McCoy. Um, you want to make sure you have those, and also you want to make sure that you have um, a book on the Eastern Star, the symbolism of the Order of the Eastern Star. Get that book, and those would be my suggestion as far as when you first become a member of the Order of the Eastern Star and you just kind of get in the grasp of things. And once you indulge yourself in your ritual and understand those five herons, really, it's to me that's enough. However, to go a little bit deeper, the symbolism of the Order of the Eastern Star is another great book you should have. And then you can go and get the history of the Order of Eastern Star and in other books. But those would be my suggestions at this time when you become a member of the Eastern Star or a Master Mason. Now, my next topic I want to just indulge in just for a few minutes is individual Freemasonry. You may be wondering, what individual Freemasonry? I don't get individual Freemasonry. What I'm saying is that as an individual, the Grand Lodge is the only thing that runs the individual Freemason. Okay? The Grand Lodge. The Grand Lodge can suspend you, individually speaking. It can lift suspensions. Only a Grand Lodge can do that. No other entity can do that to a Master Mason. If you would take and open your Mackey's Jurisprudence to page 350, I think that's 315. That's like the third or second paragraph on that page. It deals with individual Freemasonry. It simply states that the grand the let me see. Just a second. I'm gonna read it so you can have it for yourself here. Okay, page 315, Mackey's Jurisprudence, deals with individual Freemasonry. Just so you know, there's no other entity higher than your Grand Lodge that is over a Master Mason. There's no other entity that can suspend a Master Mason, your lodge, your lodge, or the Grand Lodge. So let's look at here on page 315 in Mackey's Jurisprudence. It says the individual Freemason is governed by his lodge. The master is controlled by the Grand Lodge. The Grand Lodge is restrained by the ancient landmarks. And if the Grand Master was not also responsible to some supreme power, he alone would be the exception to that perfect adjustment and balance and direct the whole Masonic government. So in other words, the Grand Master is the it factor. Okay, the wishful master, it is the it factor in your lodge. So if any situation arises in the jurisdiction, the Grand Master is the last one to really speak on it. Whether you agree or disagree with that Grand Master and his decision. The same goes for the Order of the Eastern Star. If you have an issue in your chapter, you take it to the worthy matron. The worthy matron you found did not satisfy you. You take it up to the Grand Chapter, and you may find, well, the Grand Chapter did not quite satisfy you. That's it. You can't go no higher. You know, I've heard people say, well, take it to the General Grand Masonic Congress or whatever the title may be. No, you can't take it there because the Grand Lodge is the highest authority in the jurisdiction, along with the Grand Chapter. The sisters have issues, they take it up to the Grand Chapter. The brother have issues, take it up to the Grand Lodge. Now, you may not agree with the outcome of the decision that may be made by by the Grand Master or the Grand Matron. Now, there should be a process within your constitution, within your bylaws that tells you, okay, if the issues arises in your Blue Lodge and the wishful master handles it or deal with it, you might want to take that to a Masonic trial and take it on up the ladder to where all the brothers would then have the opportunity to voice their opinion about it. The same thing will go for a sister. You know, if you have an issue in your chapter and you feel that you did not get the results for what you was looking for, take it to the Grand Chapter. Once the Grand Chapter has received it, then they can process it and act upon it. But other than that, you can't take it no further than that. That's it. Grand Lodge, Grand Chapter rules in state. Now, if a Grand Master chooses to invite an entity to come into his state to resolve a situation, he must realize that he give up some of his power because he's asked them to come into his state. But until he does that, he is the last say-so in his state. Now, the process would be is that you would check your constitution, check your bylaws, and see what that process would be as far as how would you handle that situation if the Grand Master ruled in such a way to where you found it was disfavorable. Now, if you want to take it to a Masonic trial and it's in your constitution, it's in the landmarks, you have that right. The sisters also have that right. If they find that they have that they did not get what they was looking for as far as an issue in the state, as far as dealing with the Order of the Eastern Star, they have that right also. Look at the landmarks. That's something you should take very seriously. Look at the landmarks of the order. Look at the landmarks of Masonry. And go from there. And also, as I've said in the beginning, as far as books are concerned, brothers, you got to Mackey's Jurisprudence. And if your state abide by the landmarks and those things that are in Mackey's, then use it. But you first have to find out if your state abides by them. And the same thing will go for sisters. Find out what landmarks that your Grand Chapter abide by. There are 15 landmarks for the Order of the Eastern Star. Look at those landmarks. See what the rules are when you have issues in your state and resolve the issues in your state. Instead of taking them out to an outside entity, it would tear up your state when you do that. I would tell any Grand Masters, you deal with your situation in your state, handle it the best way you can, and everybody's not going to be happy when a situation is, when a answer is given. You know, You may feel like you didn't get a fair shake. However, you run all through the process, find out what the process is in your state, and take those steps as far as a brother having an issue in his lodge, or even when the wishful master may have an issue. There are processes in that you should take and find out what they are, and go with it. I mean, there is no need of you taking anything outside of your state. Work it out inside your state, and trust me, you will be better off when you do it. So until we meet and see each other once again, peace be peace. Peace be still. But peace to you. And also, as always, stay out those bushes and keep your light on. I'm out.